Welcome to the Six-Figure Author Experiment, where we help you break through your first or next $100,000 goal. Parental discretion is advised. Now, let's get on with the show.
Hi, Lee. I'm so excited today. How are you doing? It's been forever, I think, since we recorded.
I know. I'm excited too. I am finishing up book 2 of a very intense duet that is basically spicy Batman. So I have been productive in our long hiatus, but we did so many shows in a row. I feel like there's enough out there. And today we have a lovely guest. Janet Margot is here with us.
Yes. Hi, Janet. How are you? I'm so excited to talk with you.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
All right. So we're going to do the thing that we normally do like 20 minutes in now, which is like, can you tell us a little about yourself? So like that people know and we can ground like where you come from.
Sure. Well, I am an Amazon coach. I'm saying an Amazon coach now, not an Amazon ads coach, because I think there's more to it than ads. But just to give my background, I have 20 years working for different media brands, including like Condé Nast, Lonely Planet, Village Voice Media, and then 10 plus years with Amazon. And I helped build out the Amazon ads platform specifically for books. So I got to work with a lot of authors and publishers. And when I left, I was invited to come directly teach authors how to use the platform. So that's what I've been doing for the past 5 years. I am focusing more on more than just Amazon ads, because I think it's really important that you look at your entire Amazon ecosystem. And so it's not just like what's happening within your ads account. It's very much why you're doing what you're doing and why things may not be working in ads.
Awesome. I love it. And you have a new book.
I do. I forgot to mention that. It's actually the second edition of my ads book that I put out in 2021. A lot of people wanted updates on tactics and stuff, and I did a few updates there, but really what I find is most important to focus on these days is strategy. So that I think is what's been missing in a lot of the ads content, including my own. And when I'm coaching more and more the past year and a half, I've been asking people why you're doing what you're doing. So that's really the focus of my book and what I'm hoping we get to chat about today with respect to your catalog, Russell.
Yes. So this is something, this is a big shame of mine as an author and something that I like don't talk about a lot, but I have never run an Amazon ad before because as much as I like data, I also hate data just that much. And especially like it's like, it feels so data heavy and like it will take my entire life to do Amazon ads. And also like, I'm scared of doing it.
What are you scared of?
I'm scared of losing money. And
okay, that's fair.
I guess that's basically it. Like I am scared of the intense minutia work that people say it takes to like get a like ad account working. And what I got from your book was that is not true and I am wrong. So why am I wrong? Or why am I right?
So I think you're both. And I think that's one of the things that I'm really trying to impress upon people that get really freaked out about ads or their ads are not doing well. I always steal Joanna Penn's term about comparisonitis in author careers. It's the same thing with ads. It's like if somebody has, I go less and less on social media in part because of this. It used to drive me nuts when people were comparing their ACOS, their account level ACOS. That is dumb. That is absolutely dumb because what ACOS means for one campaign doesn't mean the same thing for another campaign. And you can trick your ACOS. You can have killer ACOS because you're targeting yourself. What do you do? Why are you advertising? Are you trying to reach new readers? Like, what's the point? So that's where I keep getting to the why. So I would say that, there's some campaigns that most of us should be okay losing money on. I put that in air quotes because are you really losing money or is it just a function of how the ads dashboard is displayed? And then some of them you should hope that you see in the dashboard a lot of return. So I think there's a lot of wiggle room that a lot of the ads content out there doesn't address. It's very nuanced. And what you want out of your career is different than what I want out of my career.
Yes. Okay. So
You
you
know?
have to say what ACOS is, though, because like,
Oh, sorry, advertising cost of sale. So now for those of you who are in Kindle Unlimited, that metric is a little bit different, but it's basically what the dashboard says your return on ad spend is.
yes, absolutely. And well, one of the reasons why I haven't run Amazon ads is my main series was not on Amazon until November of last year. So I have an 11 book series that I have two 12 book series actually,
I
neither
noticed
of
that.
which were on Amazon until November of last year. And the second one isn't. So what I really want to do is figure out how to make this work with my Gods vs. Chronicles series because my
Okay.
Obsidian Spindle Saga series is one that I think like will take off more likely than the other one because it's all about like the first book's called The Sleeping Beauty, then The Wicked Witch, and then The Fairy Queen. It's just like I feel like it's just like very marketable.
The which one, God Serve or the Obsidian Spindle?
The Obsidian Spindle one, I think, is more
Okay.
marketable than Gods vs. Chronicles, but I just got all of those new covers last year and put them up 6 months ago. So that is even much more marketable than what they used to be called Magic Follow Behind Her and like Evil Follow Behind Her. They just have had a very long publishing journey into here. They were exclusive to Kickstarter. Anyway,
Oh,
like, and now
okay.
like I put them on all platforms. And I was this whole podcast was like to figure out how to launch these books properly. And then I got really freaked out and over the course of a weekend just launched them all at one time.
And when did you launch? When did you launch them?
It's November, like
Yeah.
it was like right around 20 Author Nation last year.
And how are they selling?
Well,
You
the
don't have to
first
give
book
me
is
specific
free.
numbers.
The first
Okay.
book is free. I get about 10 downloads a day on it. Somewhere between 5 and 10
Okay.
downloads a day on it. Then like I get one or two sales a week on the second book, Evil, and then like there's one person that's currently bopping around making like buying book. They're on book 4 now. But like there I can
Okay.
tell like it's like no one's going from book 2 to book 4. So like this is one person that's like slowly bopping down the series. And I frankly think that's great because I was getting zero anythings on Amazon for like
Yeah.
years. And so like to have like 5 people download my thing and also have all this other stuff going, I'm actually quite pleased about that. But I want to now not have I want to now have hundreds of people download them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Janet, I think Russell and I have opposite trajectories where I was in Kindle Unlimited and publishing very short books, like a rapid release schedule for years. And everything was Amazon centric. And Russell is the opposite. He was off Amazon. He had an amazing direct sales strategy that he built from zero. So both of
Yep.
us built a career from zero. Um, I did it on Amazon. He did it off Amazon. And now I'm going, expanding my direct sales offers. And
Hmm.
I have some big series taken out of Kindle Unlimited. And Russell is going towards retailers to get just a presence, I think. I
Yeah.
think it's just having your products, which are going to exist forever, everywhere
Yeah, so
because you
we
have them.
Yeah. So our philosophy at Writer MBA is that you need retailers mainly as a casual reader funnel into like your direct sales environment. So
Yep.
like I
Yep.
want all of that stuff. Well, I have the bottom of the funnel part of it pretty locked in where like my direct sales, I have like 1,000 email sequences and such. So like all of that stuff works well, but I am trying to fix like the top of funnel, whereas like
Yeah.
Lee, I think had like a top of funnel really working incredibly well. And then like she's trying to build out all of the rest of that infrastructure.
So, Russell, for you, I would be looking at advertising book one in that saga, um, and using that as sort of a lead capture, right? Into not only the series, and this is where the math gets a little tricky, um, you would be looking at read through. So you would be able to spend more on a bid up front, which let's not talk about the value of bids right now. But we can, advertise book one to bring them into the series, but you're really trying to capture that lead into your direct sales ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yes.
You should definitely be advertising book one in that series. I would just do book one, especially, for some people, I recommend most people start with book one if they have a series. But for people who have longer series, I actually recommend to start also kind of peppering your ads with other books deeper into the series, because people do forget about you. That's the reality of life, right? There's other things going on. But for you, because you're trying to catch people into your direct sales funnel, just maintain the focus on book one. Are you really how do you feel about your categorization and your Kindle keywords?
All right. So I just had ChatGPT do it.
Okay.
So I have
That's
no
not
opinion.
bad.
I had no opinion on them for a couple months. I had no keywords because I was like, I don't care about this. And then I went back in and I had ChatGPT do it. And so assuming how good, I mean, I have Publisher Rocket and Katie Spy, assuming it hasn't changed its name. But I have both of those, so I can figure which are two ways to get better keywords, I think. I mean, I know that they are, but I don't know how good they are at doing that thing. But yeah, ChatGPT currently has it, and I don't know. They're fine. I don't know how to think about any of this.
Okay. So it makes sense to you when you look at your Kindle keywords.
Yes, they make sense.
That's the important thing.
Yes.
They make sense to you. And have you thought at all about, and this is super important actually for nonfiction, for anybody who is listening who's a nonfiction author. I think this is really important. It may be a little less tricky for fiction authors, but have you thought about how the customer would actually search to find your book? And do those keywords make sense from the customer's perspective, not just from the author's perspective?
I think so. I ran some basic Google trend just when ChatGPT gave me the keywords to see how they trended in comparison to each other. And they seemed to be pretty it was all the words that I would use to search.
Yeah.
The thing. Nonfiction
but you as an author.
No, me as I also read that same genre. So that's what I would use to search as a reader. But you're also way deep in it. So you could be right. But what I do is, first off, I am a fan of using ChatGPT as a shortcut to get your Kindle keywords. Just dump the book description in there and there you go. You can add extra notes if you want to give it more context about what you want or don't want. Absolutely use an AI tool for that. I think that is killer. But what I then do is I do go back to Publisher Rocket and I look at my peers. I look at my comps and I go and I use the reverse hasten lookup to see which keywords are driving revenue towards those titles. And that's where sometimes you'll find number 7 isn't right and you'll swap it out for something. Yeah, maybe I would look for this because I'm a specialist in this niche, both the reader and writer, but that's not really what the bulk of customers are doing. And again, that may be a little different with fiction, but with nonfiction, I find that people are extra academic, and that's, rather than focusing on the problem that customers are trying to solve. So my advice to anybody listening when you're doing this is to validate it using Publisher Rocket. It is a really great shortcut, though, to use something like ChatGPT, but you really want to be thinking about not only what you think the book is, but also how your customer's psychological state when they are searching Amazon for your book. Amazing. Well, I said no matter what you told me to do, I was going to do it, and so I'm going to go and do that after this call. And so just to confirm, Publisher Rocket used to be called KDP Rocket. And it is a platform that you can use to help search keywords and et cetera, other things. There's a monthly or yearly or lifetime cost. I forget what I pay or what I do pay for it. And then ASIN is the little number that they give you, the like B or C or A or whatever for like to like in the Amazon system to search, and every book has that. Am I missing anything that
Right.
we just talked about? I'm trying to make sure that someone who isn't in the weeds of Amazon like can
Yep.
follow this conversation.
Yep. So the ASIN is Amazon's identifier for
Mhm.
your
It's
product or
just
for your book.
different than your ISBN, which is a whole
Yep.
different system. And
Yep.
then the keywords, you get 7 keywords, but there are 7 keyword slots, but you can put multiple words in that slot,
Yep.
correct?
Keywords or phrases. Yep. And the other thing though that I want to note when I'm asking about your metadata, it's also about your categorization. So when you're looking at your peers and using PubRocket to validate your keywords, you want to make sure that you are in the right categories and that you're looking up peers who are in your category.
Sure.
So that's the other thing that I do on every single book that I work with is I go and I look at their 3 categories on Amazon and what's happening in those 3 categories. That's who you need to compare yourself. Don't even bother comparing yourself to a title that's in a different category.
Awesome.
And this is advice not just for ads. And again, like I said, like I try to look at it holistically. Ads are not myopic. They do not work in a silo. Ads are an amplifier for whatever is happening with your book on Amazon organically. And by organically, I mean unpaid.
Sure. Okay, so I now am in the perfect, I'm not probably, but like I now have the perfect keywords and I have the perfect categories. Am I looking at like, so am I going to like the top 100 and looking at my covers and blurbs and such before this process? Is after that, like where, because even if you get to the perfect categories and keywords, if your covers are wildly variant
Yep.
and your blurbs aren't right, I'm assuming
Yep.
that will hurt you all over Amazon.
Yep. So exactly. So like I just looked at your book 1, which is The Sleeping Beauty, and I just clicked on fairy tales, which is your first category listed on your detail page. And I can see like really quickly, I don't even need to spend a lot of time there. I just scan really quickly. I'm like, yep, you fit in right in there with the top. Like
Good.
you're right on brand for the category, right on.
Awesome.
So there shouldn't be any problem there. And these are things that I do before I get people started with advertising. Like don't even bother advertising if you don't do these little checks on your metadata, that's your category and keywords, and your the covers as they relate to the top of your categories. The other thing I do is for newer authors, actually sometimes for authors who've been around a while too, when I'm looking at the cover trends in the categories, I'm also looking at pricing. I'm just checking out to see pricing. Are most people in Kindle Unlimited or not? Just doing a little check there. That's not often a problem, but it's enough of a problem that I do that quick check.
Awesome.
Make sure you're in line.
I love this. And I want to throw 2 things out to the listener. One is done is better than perfect. So Russell, you did it. So yay. And then you can iterate on it. And the other is, guys, this is so easy. Packaging can be changed overnight. And that is really cool. As someone who just ran my first Kickstarter and is dealing with the cost of physical goods in a way that I've never had to in my business, you know, let's say, Russell, you did run into a problem and you're like, I need to rewrite this and this, get a different cover, rewrite the blurb, align it differently. When I've coached authors who come to me and they're like, I have a 12-book series and I have to fix it. And I'm thinking, yeah, just do a box set and get one cover, box up the first 3, box up all 12, whatever you want. And get a couple covers on Fiverr, get a couple covers with your favorite designers, test them with ads if you want. Usually I use Facebook to do that, but and just you can swap this cover out in 3 seconds. That's really a gift and wonderful. I think a lot of authors get hung up though when they're told your cover's not right. But guys, if I started in 2008, my covers would all look different. now, or they
Right.
should look different. And that's okay because I'm hitting new readers. And now the cover game in romance is you have 5 different covers for one book, and that's just the way it is. Like you have an illustrated, you have a discreet, you have one with flowers on it, you have one with a guy on it with no shirt, you have one with a couple on it with this beautiful light around them. And that's what you offer to the market. So this stuff changes, packaging changes, and it's really easy actually to swap it out. So instead of hearing that advice and going, "Oh my God," I mean, imagine if you ordered 5,000 books from a printer and then you realized your cover was wrong. Like you just threw it
Yeah.
up on Amazon and tested it.
Just another, I would actually say try to test it before you even do ads. And I don't know if you guys have heard of the service PickFu,
No.
PICKFU.
No, tell me more.
I want to say it might cost you like $50 or something like that. They might give you some free tries for it. I'm a huge fan of it because you basically put your cover out to readers and you're surveying them, and you not only get like a yay or nay, but you get feedback on the cover and you get their demographic information, which is
Wow.
priceless.
Yeah, I get demographic information based on the readers coming in on Amazon, scrolling, the readers coming in on Facebook, or the readers coming in on TikTok, which all stuff. But I'm just trying to parse this. I'm like guessing a little bit, and that sounds really cool. So
Yeah.
data is so valuable.
Look at this. Look at this thing. It's like you just like get to, I hope I'm showing the right thing, but like you create a poll, you design the poll, and you can pick like Amazon main image optimization, like product variant test. This is really cool. This is like that's really awesome.
That's a hack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
that's
you.
amazing. I'm starting that right now.
I love this service so much. And I've used it working for tech companies. I mean, like, so it's not just like some schlocky dude who thinks he can throw something up with little tech background or data, not to single anybody out.
We knew we were going to get the real tea. Next, we want to know about the inside the halls at Amazon and the dysfunction.
So yeah, once you get everything up, then I would say your first thing, I wouldn't even target stuff, Russell. I wouldn't even manually target. I would just do an automated ad, do sponsor products, automated ad. And the reason why I start with that is not just because it's low lift, but because I want to further validate my book and my packaging and all the good stuff. I want to validate it and see what Amazon thinks of it. So not just the customers yet. It's really important to understand, what does Amazon think of my book? How is Amazon going to place my book? Who does Amazon think my peers are? So the similar books. And, is it going to show my title to the right customers? So that's huge intel to start with that auto ad, negating your own brand terms. So you want to do an auto ad, you want to negate your own book titles and your author names. So you want to be looking for Amazon to find you new readers, not the people who are already searching for you. That's the first ad I would do if I were you. And from that, then start going into the manual stuff.
All right. I already have the ads dashboard pulled up. I'm going to do it. Not right now because that would be
really boring to watch you do that.
No, I it's like now it's just gonna loom on my second screen for as long as it takes me to actually set one up.
That's how I do my to-do list too. I have like just zillions of windows open. I got to do this before I close it out.
And I do want to just bring up for a second, because like if so many people just like don't spend enough time with your cover designer or like choosing a cover designer, but like if you pick the right cover designer who knows your genre, they should be able to help to get you really far in this process and be able to tell you when you like you should be able to get five or 10 or however many images they give you, like mock-ups, and be like, this is the one that will do the best, I think. And like they should be able to have reasoning behind like what they're doing, as opposed to a lot of people just like find a pre-made or or just like will hire their best friend to do it. And it's like they don't have the like good cover designers. They do some of this work for you.
Or
Right.
I really like this artist's work. I want their artwork on my book. And then you're getting an emotional attachment that is not necessarily going to sell books to strangers, because that's what we're after, right? We
Yes.
can shove books down the faces of our family and friends, but ultimately, to be successful, you want to sell to strangers. Can I make a comment too or a little anecdote that I'd like to share for
Sure.
nonfiction authors out there?
Sure.
Yes,
I keep
please.
going to nonfiction because I feel like they're really an underserved space. I'm going to give an example, a rough example that I had last week of a conversation with a prospective new client who, I'll say up front, we decided not to work together. This guy came to me and he wanted to know why his book wasn't selling, and he wanted me to run ads to it. And, he was going to make a ton of money and he's going to spread his message, because lots of nonfiction authors, that's what they're after. They want to spread their message. So one of the first things I said was, I think the cover needs to be redone. And he said, no, you don't understand. And he launches into this thing about what I needed to understand about his cover design. And I said, whoa, I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear your explanation, because customers don't give a crap about your explanation of your cover. These are nanosecond decisions.
Yes.
They're scrolling through, they see you in search, or they see your ad or whatever it is, and they're going to click or they're not going to click based on that cover. And if your cover requires too much explanation, it's crap. Start over.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's just the anecdote I want to share. He told me the next day he didn't want to work with me, that he thought that everything that I was saying was wrong. And so, yeah, that was not a good fit. But just giving that, I will give tough feedback on covers. And there's just a lot of people who their covers it's too much of an emotional connection for them. And the problem here is that it needs to be an emotional connection and resonate with a reader in a nanosecond.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And it's one of those things where, do you want it to be what you want it to be, or do you want it to be read? And often those two things are wildly different.
Yeah.
My friend says, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? I think about that a lot, actually. I did get a cover of my heart, but I'm actually really willing to change this. I actually think that the whole vibe of it is probably not the thing I'll sell first, but I got an idea of what I could put up as a lead magnet for nonfiction and put free. And it's actually like chapter 1 of this book. And I could put it up with like a solve your problem title. So I just thought that up. But I also want to plug this amazing thing that's coming out. This is Brussels. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I love that cover.
Thank you.
I love that.
Yeah, I have been told for a long time that I am the Mark Manson of like this industry, indie publishing industry.
Yeah. The big.
And so he did The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, and I was like, well, like, why don't I just lean into that? And then leaning into that, I had to basically change all of the covers for this series, because the other thing that I did was take all of the singular books that I had done and like made it into one series with like.
I love that.
So,
rebranding. It's
solid branding.
There's like two.
Solid
There's like
branding.
one.
Yep.
There's 4. There's like 3. I just like did all.
Nice. I mean,
that's a great job.
Really cool.
And actually, like, this is the original cover that I put on Kickstarter for this book. It's called This Is Not a Book. And then when I changed it, I changed it to Advanced Growth Tactics for Authors, because like one of these things is going to sell more than the other. And so, I mean,
one
I think
of them solves a problem. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And I think it's really important that but like, I also think that this is true in fiction. I know we don't talk about it enough, whereas like you are solving a problem in fiction. The problem is just like someone wants to be entertained, or they want to be taken out of their whatever the universe, whatever the fantasy of what they're doing is. And like, is your book's like actually solving that pain point? Like, there's a reason that the book 1 in this other series is called Magic, because like,
It's
It's a
fantasy.
fantasy.
I know it. I know it right away as soon as you say it. This book is called Magic. I'm like, well, I wonder what's in it. That's really good. And titles, subtitles, and series titles are easy also to change. And I like to be a little artsy with one of those, like the series title or the title, and then get really direct with the subtitle.
Yes.
Or the series
Yes.
title. Actually, Bad Boy Alphas is the series title of my best-selling series. And it's just very clear to a romance reader who loves wolf shifters and bad boys, spicy wolf shifter stuff. Bad Boy Alphas, those are really strong keywords right in the series title. And then we can be a bit, actually, we're a little bit more artsy in the books. We kind of, as long as we have that Bad Boy Alpha, we can do anything else. We can have humor, we can have a squirrel shifter, we can have, action scenes, we can have
core of it. But the
comedy,
what the book is, whatever the wrapping is with the comedy or spiciness, whatever the core of the book is, needs to be either in the subtitle or the title. I know, lots of people like the directness in the subtitle and the artsiness in the title, but you're doing that for two reasons: for the reader, but also search engine optimization. That's what Amazon is, right? Like, you have to make sure that the Amazon machine, both the organic algorithm, the search algorithm, and the ads algorithm, know what the heck your book is.
Right.
Otherwise, otherwise, what are you doing?
Right.
Yeah. And by the way, I don't advertise 99 out of 100 books. I advertise book one of the Bad Boy Alpha series.
Yeah,
Well,
there you go.
And you told me a story about this, Lee, that I'd love to get you to lean on, Janet, also, which is like when you went to your new ad person, they were like, this is the one. Like, they like ran tests to see like which book you should do, right?
Yeah, no, it was Nick Erickson. He doesn't do ads anymore for people, the punk. So he was like, I can't do ads for you anymore. Bye. But also don't advertise anything in your catalog but this book. Like, okay, thanks for that.
Did you do that based on Amazon ads or Facebook ads?
So it was Facebook ads at the time. Amazon ads did not like the keyword alpha. I think that has changed. So they thought it was an erotic thing, which it is, to be honest, which is fair. But there's no spice
there's a blacklist on the back end. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And we have since changed up some things, done some spin-off series that we could advertise on Amazon. And we have like small ads going. We haven't done a really strong Amazon strategy, mostly because I keep forgetting to do it.
But for Facebook, that is a great idea. You can do solid tests on Facebook. You can do real A/B tests on Facebook. People pretend that you can do that on Amazon, and you just can't. It's BS. However, there are times when it's legit feedback that, let's say, book 3 or 4 has such a killer cover. If you're not branded very well, it has such a killer cover that it may actually drive more people into the series.
No, yes, absolutely. We take a lot of time and care with a book one. We put a lot of thought into it, and we've messed up, and we will swap it out. We'll make different decisions, but I have lucked out. And some of it is I'll put out a book and it's book one in a series, and that one takes off. Well, that's where I spend my time and energy. And versus pushing stuff that, just doesn't want to be pushed. It wasn't quite right.
Right.
Yeah, I think that so often people expect every one of their books to pop off as well. And like, I just finished going through one of our workbooks, which we're making all these workbooks. And one of the sections was about how like that not everything is going to get organic reach. Like, they're not just going, you can't just drop every book. Like, I have a book called Worst Thing in the Universe, which is like narrated by God, said in the future about karma. Just like, you can't drop that into a list of room of like a bunch of random readers and expect it to like ripple out. And unless it can ripple out, like, probably it's not going to be amplified by ads, right?
Well, there has to be something to be amplified, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So zero is not really going to amplify too much. However, depending upon what your why is with that book and what you're trying to do with that book. So when I ask people about their why behind, I ask them about the why behind the author career, because some people are just passion authors,
Yeah.
and or legacy authors and just trying to get something out to family and friends. And then some people are trying to make a career out of it, which most people listening to this podcast are, they're trying to make a career out of it. So there's times maybe with a zero book, like you're talking about, there's times when you just want to go out and you want to get a boatload of impressions, and you're going to evaluate your ad differently then too. You're talking about soul reach to see what happens. That's not to say that you're going to do a reach campaign forever. That's not an evergreen to go on and on and on, but you might want to do a couple weeks or a month or 2 months or 3 months, whatever the heck you can afford, and go out and just blast people with impressions and see how that yields.
That's so interesting because I tell people that one of the most underutilized ways to use Facebook ads is to do the same thing, just to have like
Mm-hmm.
low level reach video view
Yeah,
impressions that like just
yeah.
show you that you like, because like those reduce the cost of the other ads. So this is a similar strategy that you're talking about on Amazon.
Yeah, and also remember that so people get so hung up with ad efficiency. And I admit that I used to focus on that a lot. It was easy to do at first because I was working with authors who had been out there for a while, had a ton of data. They could run super efficient ads. That was killer. But most of us out there can't do that. They can't only focus on ad efficiency. Plus, as your author career evolves, as a book's life cycle changes, your goals with that ad should be different. So there are times when you just go out for reach and not reach for one. You don't want a viewer to see, you don't just want to see like 100 people see it once. Remember that recognition, like they say, like 7 or 10 times somebody needs to see something before it clicks. So you want to get yourself out there. If you are a nonfiction author, you want to be like your authority. At some point, someone's going to be like, oh my God, I know that guy's name. That's right. You only know it from your ad, but they don't know that difference, right? Like your average person. And for a fiction author, it's the same thing. Like finally, they're looking for something. Like, oh God, I've heard about that book somewhere. No, they haven't. They really saw your ad a bunch of times, but that's what we want. So it's here that the issue is amplifying your brand awareness or your book awareness in a customer's eyes. Psychology.
Is there ever a time where a strategy is just like you target your name and misspellings of your name?
Yeah.
You mentioned that earlier, but
Sure. So when I'm doing auto ads, I like to negate brand names. So your author name, your book titles, maybe your ASINs. But if I'm going to target myself or yourself, just do it consciously. Just know that I'm going to put a little bit of spend out there to, to make sure that people are finding me when they're searching for me and not finding my competitor when they're searching for me. Like there was a friend of mine was doing a conference recently, a mini conference around her nonfiction topic, and she definitely has competition in that space. So we ran some brand ads against her name just to make sure that nobody else was going to steal her traffic during that time. That was very important in relation to her event.
yeah.
And I mean, you can also have like a cheap ad running all the time with misspellings if you want to do
okay. Cool. And I was thinking that for Russell because most people actually might know Russell off Amazon. They've heard a podcast, they see the conference, they want to engage more with his work and they're searching and they use Amazon as a search platform. It just, and now he has a presence that's pretty new. I'm really glad, Russell, you have a presence, even if you ignore all e-retailers. You just you write whatever you want and you launch weird stuff on Kickstarter, which is your favorite thing to do. And then, you just redid your nonfiction covers and they are, I mean, we just went over this. This is actually super marketable. Like this is super well branded. And I feel like, yeah, actually my gut says put any ad spend you want towards book 1 of this series and maybe let your fiction do its thing. Like you already profited off your fiction. Like you did the Kickstarter, you make money direct. You just have them up on retailers. I think actually pushing this and getting people onto your Substack is a better long-term strategy. If you had $100.
These are two different audiences.
Right.
It's a Venn diagram. They're not mutually exclusive. There's an overlap, right? The fiction, he doesn't want to only sell fiction to authors, but the nonfiction is geared towards authors or creatives.
True.
I wouldn't even say only authors. I'd say creatives.
Yeah.
But, it's like, it's an ad scenario. Pick just, I think you've got 3 series there that you could be advertising, according to my numbers. Pick one of them, like you already singled out one, just do a little bit there, keep it low level. You can also turn it on.
What does low level mean?
Low level means you're not, like you said, you don't really want to dig in the data. You don't want to dig in the minutia. So
until I see a return, then I want to do all the data and minutia.
So yeah, I was thinking you had a limited budget, but maybe your test is you do all 3 and you throw, whatever budget you're willing, you split it 3 ways and then you see what profits and then you double down on the budget there.
So some of it depends. For every author, it's different. Like some people, it's like limited effort, limited mind space, and others, it is literally budget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone is so different when they're coming to this author game. It's like, I don't want to do this. I want to do that. Well, you can build an ads plan and a strategy around how you want to deal with ads or don't want to deal with ads.
Yay.
It doesn't have to be rocket science. And I feel like we've kind of built this little cottage industry about do better with ads, do better, do more, do efficient. Calm the hell down.
Yeah. So I have to admit, I lied earlier. I did spend $5.78 on ads and I got 16,000 impressions, which I think is worse than 0. Like not doing it at all. Like that's just comically low. But yes, I do. I have run ads.
How long did you run it for? What book was it on? Like, what were the customer search terms? Like, this is not binary. It's not black and white.
Sure. I spent $2 daily starting in May 21, 2020. So I ran it for like 3 days, I guess, 5 years ago.
Then 16,000 impressions over 3 days is not bad. That's not bad.
Yeah, I guess like we're nearing the end of our time, but I want to talk about a couple of final things, which is like I've been told that you need to like there's a thing where like Amazon doesn't want to spend your money unless it spends all of your money, like they don't spend money the first day. Like, is any of that stuff true? Can we like debunk some stuff or confirm some stuff here? So
for such a greedy company and individuals within the company, for such a greedy bunch, one of Amazon's superpowers is actually leaving cash on the table. And so they're not I don't think it's as conscious as the algorithm is not going to spend unless it spends it all. It has to do with your targets. So you set a campaign level budget, right? But your campaign performance is only the sum of your targets. Your targets can suck. There can be too many. Your bids can suck against a competitive target. So I feel like it's really reductive to say they won't spend your money or they'll spend all of it. There's too many variables.
How am I going to find all of the best targets? Besides, I've done the automatic one. I'm like, now I want to do more things and I want to spend more time with my data. Like what is the best way to find the right targets?
So first, I would be running auto ads with a high budget, negating yourself after you have made sure that your metadata kicks ass. Okay. Run a bunch of those and look at the customer search terms. and actually see what customer search terms are performing the best, and then start targeting those in manual. Then you can do something like, if you're a fan of ChatGPT and that's your jam, ask ChatGPT for a bunch of advertising targets. Ask them for comps. And then, or you could dive in because you have so much time on your hands and you can't wait to sort through Publisher Rocket. You can dive into Publisher Rocket and start looking for comps, look for the keywords on the bestsellers in the category. My book has like a page or two of all kinds of ways and all kinds of things that you should be targeting. It's a pretty long list, but you also don't want to be throwing spaghetti at the wall. So don't just say, I'm going to take 100 targets and throw them in a campaign and set a high budget, because that's just not going to work. That is something I'd like to debunk. These people who are like, oh, you have to have 50 keywords in there or 100 keywords. That's BS. You don't. And in fact, I can guarantee that this is one thing I will guarantee. If you put 50 targets in a campaign, those 50 targets are all not going to serve. And most of them will not serve in a meaningful way. So why are you advertising against them?
What should I put in a campaign? 1 term, 2 terms,
there's some campaigns where I do 1 or 2, and I call that like micro targeting.
Yeah.
Because I know I have a target, I know it does really well, and I'm telling Amazon, hey, mofo, I want to spend money on this. Don't spend money on the other long tail. I want to spend money on these. This is what matters. It's like cash in hand. I want to spend on these. I usually don't put more than 10 targets in a campaign. And part of that is because, believe it or not, I don't like to spend a lot of time in my ads dashboard. And when I go in there, I want to spend my time is what I'm looking for where I'm looking for the efficiency. So I set up campaigns with just like 10 targets in them. And it's like, okay, these are targeting this subset and this set and this set and this set. So when I look in there and I'm at a high level seeing how my campaigns are doing, I'm like, okay, targeting Monica's doing really well. Targeting Ricardo sucks. Like I know right away at a high level. I don't want to have to keep clicking and clicking and clicking.
Oh my God, I could target Monica.
Yeah, you could. Also, can I target Batman romance? There's only fanfic Batman romance that I've found.
Test it.
Yeah, okay.
But I can small budget, test it.
Even though Batman is a trademark thing.
I think you can't put it in this is where ads targeting keywords and metadata keywords are different. You can't put it in your metadata,
right?
But you should be able to target it. Just like everybody targets Jack Reacher.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, thank you.
Are there any other things you want to debunk? Because I feel like you got fiery there for a second, and I want to know what else.
Yeah, this is cool.
I am fiery. So I don't know. What are some of the big myths that you hear? The campaign number of targets is a huge one. I haven't had coffee yet today, which is unusual, so I can't think of another one. Come on, what are other big things that you hear to do?
Well, we did the one about that Amazon doesn't spend your money, or it spends all your money. We did all of the things. So Monica says that Facebook ads are ones that spend, like they seem like they're going to take a lot to set up. No, sorry. They seem simple, but then they get more complicated. And Amazon is kind of the opposite, where like it feels very complicated to get started, but like it actually becomes like easier over time as you like set it up. Like true or false? Or neither, or both. I
kind of agree with that, but I think for the Amazon piece, so much of it is mindset. Really, and I think authors kind of, it's that comparisonitis thing where they're like, oh my God, I got to do this. No, you don't. I think if you set up your strategy according to how much time you want to spend and what you're into and not into, then it doesn't have to be a beast even from the beginning. But you have to set your expectations that you are going to spend extra money while you're experimenting, because there is an experimentation phase.
Sure.
And maybe that's kind of what she's leaning in on. Where like once you don't have to experiment so much, it's not such a hair raiser.
Sure. Yeah, I guess you always have to like be adding new Facebook targets like over time. They just like you have to like eventually an ad will fail in Facebook, even if it's been running really well for like a long time. Just like it's a thing that you just know you have to do at least once a month to at least like check on it. Whereas like Monica was like, some of my ads on Amazon I had running for 2+ years and they just
Yeah.
ran.
You just triggered two myths that I hear. One, that you need to be creating ads all the time. I hear this nonsense, and some people come to me who have like hundreds and sometimes over 1,000 ads running because they've been told they just need to keep doing ads, and that is spaghetti at the wall, and I'm completely against that.
Yeah.
You don't need to keep doing that. The other one is, oh my God, what happened? My ads were doing great and they went off a cliff. And that's usually because your ads sucked and Amazon just gave it the benefit of the doubt for the first month and then pulled the rug out.
Good to know.
That's
A
interesting.
good ad rarely dies unless there's authors who are very experienced and have been out there for a while and have good catalogs and good ads and everything. Their ad performance can, and I'm talking about a specific campaign, not their entire account. Their ad performance can severely wane if something happens dramatically with their competition. So an auction marketplace changes.
That makes sense.
And that's not very common.
Right. Okay. Are there any great tools that we missed talking about today that you think that somebody doing Amazon ads at the beginning, like baby Amazon people or super experienced ones, should be looking into or using?
I think we really covered the three. HubRocket, ChatGPT. I'm a fan of that for getting shortcuts to your categories and keywords if you have a good description. And PickFu, man. PickFu, everybody should be using PickFu. Like put that in your marketing budget to test stuff.
I love it.
Well, love it.
And I will say that I don't, with ChatGPT, I put my whole book in there. So like, I don't like put like my blurb or a sample. Like I say, read this whole book and then tell me who the comp authors are and why. Because that was one that I learned recently was like, and then I ask it, who are we missing here? And then it will give me women then. Because it only gives me men ever. And then like when I say, why are you not giving me women? They then give me women.
And you just call out something really important. When you're using any AI tools to help you with this stuff, challenge them, prompt them further. Don't always just take their first response.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess the other tool that I will put out there is like, to me, the top 100 on Amazon is like gold. Like it's like no one ever used, like people, anyone who's like making a living doing books, like we'll look at the top 100 on all of the platforms to see what's selling. But I feel like whenever I talk to a young author, like they either never look at it, or they haven't looked at it since they launched their book. And I'm not sure why that is the case, because like it's there literally anytime you want it.
Yeah. Keep looking at it. Definitely revisit how you compare to those peers. But I would say when it comes to target, so I think that's really important for packaging and to know trends. But when it comes to targeting, if you're a new author, you don't only want to target the top 100. You have to go deeper into the list and make sure that you're targeting your peers more reasonable and that you're a more reasonable substitute for those titles.
Right. Absolutely. All right. Well, we are at the end of our time, but I do want to say I loved your book. I was never going to do Amazon ads, and now I'm going to do them. I may only do for $5, but I'm going to do them because of this book and this conversation. So thank you so much for coming.
Well, reach out if you have follow-up questions. I'm happy to help.
I will. Lee, do you have any final thoughts before we get going?
No, just thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. I'm going to say bye then.
Thanks for listening. For more, head on over to sixfigureauthorexperiment.com for archive access, resources, and more. We'll see you next time.